Welcome everybody to the September, I can't believe that day.
That is.
I know, right? September Builder Town Hall. We are so glad you're here. I'm Meredith Oliver of Meredith Communications. We do digital marketing for builders, build builder websites, search engine optimization, social media, Google ads, you name it. If it's digital, we work on it. Of course, I am also the host of Builder Town Hall, which is a monthly live stream, and the Home Builder Growth Summit, which is an annual virtual event. Today, though, I am joined by Dave Cooper, Dave Cooper Live. Hey, everybody, say hi to Dave.
Hey, everyone.
And he is a specialist in video and live streaming. And I thought, this is the perfect topic for us for September because so many of you are doing video. And if you aren't, he's going to make a really good case on why you should be there. When an AirPod, but I caught it without even looking. That's impressive. But he's going to help you kind of realize, understand, and see the importance of video as part of your communication tool belt. So we're going to talk about that today. I've got a couple of links that I'll give out as we go. Actually, I'll chat them to Angela and she will give them out as we go. And that way, you'll have resources that you can use that'll speak exactly to what we're talking about today. So Dave, tell us, I don't know if everybody's familiar with you and your background prior to Dave Cooper Live. So, hey, Matt, how are you? Bye, Matt.
Jumping in and out.
I know. So, prior to your stint at Dave Cooper Live, take us back. Tell us about your background, how you ended up doing what you're doing, and what you're doing right now that makes you such an expert on video and live streaming.
Sure. So all the way back I was framing houses with my uncle when I was a kid, right? And just like most kids getting up at 4:30 in the morning and walking across those icy plates in October, November, December, I said, there's not a chance I'm ever going to be a home builder, ever. And I joined the military. In 10 years, I went in the military. And when I got in the military, I was in boot camp. I'm going to be a builder. It was one of those awakenings. Like you always think the grass is greener. But I did spend 10 years in the service. And when I came out of this service, is when I started getting back into home building. And not just home building, we got into offsite. We were doing a lot of modular with site building as well. And with that, we ended up growing our network to 3 locations in New England. And we had a partner that we partnered up with. And one of the things that really stood out during this time is, New England's a custom home build market for the most part. Developers, weren't so much in our particular area until we got, further into New Jersey. But that's really how our journey began. So I have 20 years of, developing, building everything from residential to commercial properties and about 1,600 projects under our belt total. So that's kind of where it all started for me.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted everyone to hear that background, because he is one of you. He's done every aspect of home building.
Still am.
You're right. Well, you know what I mean, though? Like you're not a outside of our industry thought leader just on video. You have that home building background. And so I wanted everybody to hear that. And then, so you and I first met, you were at Connecticut Valley Homes out of Connecticut, right? And then more recently, you made this transition to Dave Cooper Live. How did that happen?
Yeah. So when we were at Connecticut Valley, we had a social media guru just like yourself that we were working with. And one day, Angel was her name, said, Pat, I walked in the office. I'll give you the whole spiel. It's actually kind of funny. And she said, Dave, can we talk to you? And I went upstairs and I had 2 of my teammates with me that were in the marketing department, and they had Angel on a video call, just like we're doing here. And Angel said, Dave, I got to ask you something. I said, what is it, Angel? She goes, you're not going to like it. So what do you mean I'm not going to like it? She goes, we're just not going to like it. Well, what do you want me to do? She goes, well, you guys need to start doing videos. Okay, we can get somebody to do videos, no problem. And she goes, no, Dave, you need to start doing the videos. videos. And I said, I need to start doing videos. Long story short, I was getting egged on by everybody. I said, okay, all right, I'll give it a try. What kind of videos? She goes, well, I just selfie shot, go out in the field, go to your homes, walk around the site, and just talk about what you're seeing. And I said, just not edit it, nothing. She said, no, don't edit it. Just go out there and do it, because this is what people want to see. I said, all right, after some nudging, I finally got convinced to do it. And then as I was getting up, she goes, oh, Dave, there's one more thing. And I said, what's that? She goes, you have to do it live. What do you mean I got to do it live? I didn't even know what live was at the time, right? This is when Facebook Live was really becoming a thing.
Yeah.
And literally my heart sank. I said, okay, I'll do it live. So we had a home just a few miles up the road, and I went there, and of course I show up. It's like 3:30, expecting nobody to be there. Plumber's still in the basement doing whatever the plumber does. And I was so embarrassed, like I couldn't do this with somebody there. I paced around for about 2 hours. Finally, I got up the nerve to do it. And it's still out there on YouTube. I got up the nerve to do it, and I did it. And it really wasn't that hard. And nobody beat me up on it. We're always so worried what people might think. And I think I had that same concern. So I did it. And then she said, well, you got to do it at least 2 days a week. Okay. Now it's become a little much, but I was always in the field. I'm always at the houses we're building and what's going on. So I started doing it, and I stayed consistent with it for, about 6 months before I really started seeing any benefit from it. But around that 6-month mark, people started walking into our design center and hey, you're that guy on YouTube. You're the guy on TV. My wife loved that white house with the white subway tile, ... And they're talking to me as if they know me. And I'm sitting there going, who are you?
Have we
in
met?
my mind. Well, that's exactly right. And that's when I realized, holy cow, this is powerful. Because I was on my third sales meeting, on the first meeting with these people. They already felt as if they knew me because I was just doing it live. I was out there talking, the good, bad, the ugly. Somebody would say, oh, well, what's that? I'd be like, all right, well, it's a stress crack. It happens, X, Y, Z. And these are real things that happen. Everybody understands that. But people out there also don't trust builders. They don't trust contractors. And we found that by being out there talking about the things that we're working on, sometimes the problems, we don't air our dirty laundry, but talking about what happens on builds and how you resolve them really made a huge difference. So this started becoming a regular thing, so much that people in the design center were like, really, Dave? Because I'd walk through and the whole meeting would get disrupted, because we're all in sales, no matter whether we like it or not. But we also learned that people buy from people, then they buy the company.
Yes.
You could have the best company and best product in the world, but if they don't like you as a person, or they feel like you're too salesy or this or that, they're not going to want to work with you. And I think, that's one of the things we learned. So, and we're also a destination, and people aren't following me like I'm a big YouTube star. I mean, we have thousands of followers, but the reality of it is they want the information they want because we have something that they want. And then when they get it, they'll move on.
So you started with the challenge from your social media person while you were still at the builder. And then from there transitioned into actually providing video coaching, training for other builders, marketing, services that are around this area of expertise. And now, do you do a live stream show every day? I think you do, if I read the thing correctly, right?
So during COVID, when it first started, and Jennifer wanted to shoot me when I said this. I said, listen, everybody, we're going to bring you all the information you need. We're going to live stream 6 days a week. So we didn't do 7, we did 6 days a week, and we did it for 1 year, never missed a day, illness, sickness, nothing. And with that live streaming, we were just like you do here. We're interviewing people throughout the industry and the world from the technology standpoint to have them on the show. And it got to a point we had to interview 3 to 4 people a day just to keep up with who we wanted on the show, who we didn't want on the show, and who has a product that's better. Because it's all about how do we be better as an industry. We don't want to hear the same thing. We want to, what are we doing to be better and provide healthier homes and better homes?
So get this, you guys, this is grown and blossomed. You might know Dave's face from being on site at the house that she built. He's doing live stream events on the road, apparently in a camper with his whole family.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
And you've been doing it for months. So he not only, provides these services, but then this live stream show is on remote, which was another reason I was interested in talking to you today, because our salespeople also are moving around, and they can't necessarily, like, I have my video set up in my box here that never moves, right? I mean, I live stream from this studio that I created in my house, COVID times, and it's always set up. Like, the lights are just so blah, blah, blah. But I think when you're on the go needing to do this, I'm hoping that we can make it a little easier for people. So in that light, let's start with what comes to mind to you. Let's say you're a salesperson with a mobile phone and a set of AirPods, and you're on site. Maybe you're moving around sites, or you want to do different home sites or different homes. How do you kind of keep that quality, make it look good, sound good? Yeah. When you don't have a setup. Does that make sense? Sure. Yeah.
100%. It's as simple as a $30 lav mic. I wear one.
Okay.
Right here.
Yeah.
And you plug it in. You can plug it right into your phone with the little $5 adapter that you can get on Amazon. And my sound sounds pretty good, right?
Sounds great.
But here's the thing. The power is in your pocket. These cameras and phones are more powerful than anything that we've had before. And you're absolutely right, Meredith. Sounds everything. Your video can be a little grainy or choppy, especially on live stream. But if people can hear what you're saying, it's perfect, because they're listening to you half the time in the car, driving. Anyhow, they shouldn't be watching video, right?
Yeah.
When they do it. But the power is in your pocket. This device is probably what I do about 70% of my videos when I'm just going live on location outside of factories and other areas that we go. But this is the tool you need, and you don't need much more. And you don't need to edit a whole lot on it either.
No, the key is the sound. And I just love that you made that point. Always go for the highest quality audio you can, and people will forgive the video to a degree. I mean, we're getting more and more savvy as time goes on, but they will forgive some of that if they can clearly hear you and you sound confident and strong because your audio sounds good. I think that's really important. Now, if you're on site, if you're a salesperson, which is kind of the majority of who we have that follow and watch Builder Town Hall, we're talking about creating videos today for a number of different applications. It could be that you want to send somebody a video email, that you want to do a follow-up to somebody on site that you've met with recently and you want to really wow them. Send them a video email or text as a follow-up. These could be more, you want to do more of a marketing type thing where your community is getting ready to release the next phase, or you have a new model home that's opening soon and you just want to do a quick live, Instagram live, Facebook live, whatever channel you prefer and you use. You just want to do a quick like community update, a little promo. I'm here. Of course, when events return, you could use them for events. I mean, what else am I not thinking of here, Dave?
Well, here, telling the story, right? So you have a community. People live in those communities. You have customers that lived in those communities. And there is nothing better. Of course, you want to ask them, hey, if I swing by, you mind, I'm talking to us for a second about what you love about the community. The testimonial that they will give you live, or even if you just want to record it with them, is more powerful than most people understand. When somebody else can toot your horn, it's a big deal. And it's literally as simple as just walking up saying, hey, we're in the community. I have somebody maybe interested in this house. Would you mind just saying something? Are you happy with what you have? Do you love living here? Do the kids love living? There's all these different ways you can do it. And we go on location and do those things as well, where we'll drive in a golf cart live through a community, and we'll work with the developer to have, some customers staged in different areas throughout the community to just pop in and talk about what's going on in the development center. That's a big factor for them when it comes to actually, selling homes. We were just recently live at Tavistock down in Orlando, Florida with Craig Collins and some others.
I know it well.
Right. And we were in Austin recently doing the same thing on a net zero capable community out there. So those are some of the things you can do. But just being on site when a home's being built, like you said, Meredith, and you have a customer, because you can't forget the customers you have. They're your best word of mouth, the referral. And with those customers, you could be there with their phone and just do a quick video. Check this out. They just put in your recessed lights, Yeah, there's wires hanging everywhere, but they're going to clean all that up. How cool is that? Hope you're having a wonderful day. It takes you 2 seconds. It's out the door. But guess what? Now they're sharing that because everybody wants to know how the build's going in the family and the cousins and the relatives. So there's all kinds of ways of doing it. Or you just go out in the field and you thank somebody. Thank the James Hardy siding person or the Certainteed or the plumber, and just go on video and I'll give you an example. It's so easy. I did this all the time. I'd be like, hey everybody, this is so and so, on Meredith's podcast, and listen, I am standing with Jim the plumber or Jane the plumber because they're doing such an amazing job, and these are the real people doing the real work here. And James has been working on our houses for a lot of years. ... And you just thank somebody. It takes 2 seconds, and if you do this enough, people start to build a relationship with you and they see your personality. Because if you're in sales, for the most part, you probably have somewhat of a sociable personality, which makes you very capable of doing these things.
Yeah, that's right. And so salespeople, we just rattled off 5-7 different uses for video right off the top of our head. Right. And the reason that we're recommending it to you so strongly today, because we know you're using it in the marketing side of the business. I mean, video is a must for all of your marketing. But on the sales side, I don't think we're using it as much as we could. And so that was just a quick series of applications right there. So would you literally, if you were a salesperson in the field, this is not your full-time job, you are not Steven Spielberg, would you literally just hold your phone selfie style and with your lapel mic that's connected for the good sound and just record?
Yeah, I definitely 100% hold it up. You can get a little pod thing if you want to hold it out a little bit further.
Yes.
But the stabilizers and so forth in the phone moving around, they work pretty well. The only advice, starting off for people that are doing it for the first time is, one, I'm scared every time I do it. You got to do it scared. You just got to go with it. It's the way it goes. Your hands will be sweaty and what have you, but people aren't going to beat you up. They really won't. And two, do slow movements with your phone. Don't be like, well, check out this toilet. Well, check out, you'll make everybody sick. You got to go slow with it. But if you're not doing it, can I give you some statistics?
Please.
All right. So give you an idea. Everybody knows the number one search engine is Google, right? The number 2 search engine is YouTube. 2 billion total monthly active users. So that's 1 out of every 3 people on the internet are going to YouTube. Our biggest percentage of home buyers today are millennials. 30% of millennials binge watch daily. 37% binge watching. That means the other, 60-some% are still going there. They probably just don't binge watch it. Only 9% of small businesses are utilizing YouTube to sell and push their product. Now, when I say small business, I look at building consultants, and that's what we always call it, as a building consultant or a salesperson out there. You are your own, sales, .com business yourself. And you have to treat yourself that way when you're out there, going through this. And the biggest number that I can share is 70% of viewers bought from a brand after they watched the videos.
Yeah.
After they watched the videos from influencers, and not just big influence, micro influencers. And that's really what starts to become super powerful. And when you go out there and you look and you see how many people are actually doing it, it's wide open for you to really take it to the next level.
Yeah. And so let me ask you about distinguishing between recorded and live, because I think there's a role for both for our on-site sales counselors and new home specialists.
Right.
I think there's times when they might want to use live and live stream on Facebook or Instagram or one of those channels, YouTube. And I think there's times when, if you're doing a follow-up to a specific customer, you might want to record. So kind of how do you decide when you want to go live, what,
Yeah.
versus
So
pre-recorded?
if it's a direct conversation at a particular individual, then you definitely don't want to air the laundry live on what you're doing. So I mean, that's just rule number one. If you just want to showcase what's happening in your community or in the design center or a new product, then go live. If it's something that everybody is going to ask you about, you should be talking about it on a video. We all know there's those 10 questions that you get asked over and over and over and over and over again the same time you walk in. Whether you can do those live or you can pre-record them and attach those links in your emails when you're starting to talk to somebody. And all those answers go right out the door when they come in, and it helps move things along. But really the thing is, the impromptu is the fun live stuff. Hey, I'm out here, I'm live on location. And I think if you just keep that in mind, if it's for everybody, then do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so be thinking about that. But I know you guys, and I know your objections. And I think a lot of you might have had in your mind live streaming, and that was the only application of video, or you were thinking the other way, pre-recorded, and that was the only,
Right.
You have these two choices. And like you said, depending on who the audience is, how broad the message is, how you're wanting to use it. Some of you may never ever live stream anything,
That's right.
but you could get in the habit of 30-second construction update videos or grabbing testimonials. These are things you could learn to do, and you'd be great at it. And others of you would be great at live streaming. So there's just the two different applications of video that I want you to think about and not exclude one from the other. Video length, if we're doing pre-recorded, this is funny. I found this, I was Googling it today because I had a number in my mind and I wanted to see what your number was and I wanted to compare it. And this article comes up that says 60 to 90 seconds. And I'm thinking, that's really long, I think, these days, And then I look, it's a 2015 article from BombBomb, which is a great video email tool, but I was like, oh yeah, 2015. Yeah, I think it's changed from 60 to 90 seconds. So what's a good length in your mind?
So if you're doing a recorded video, those are good lengths, right? You really can get somebody's attention span for 2-3 minutes if it's just general product kind of conversation.
You think?
Just get to the point. I think it's, listen, most people get on camera unless this is your job and you do this full time and it's a TV commercial actor. The odds of you getting everything you want to get out in that shorter period of time can be hard.
Yeah.
And if you're like me and I just keep rambling, but that 60 to 90 seconds is actually really good for short stuff. I'll give you some ideas. What does that mean? So, a 1 minute, 1.5 minute video on your services. What services do you offer? Break each one of those down on what that means, or talk about, what you don't do, right? What don't you do? I think that's one that a lot of people really, really miss. And I think, those are some examples that you can use, or employee bios. Just get all your salespeople or yourself and do a video bio, just be like, hey, I'm so-and-so. In my spare time, I like to fish, hunt, and play with my kids. And other times, I have a passion for building houses, and this is why, and it's such powerful things for people to do. Or like I said, the most powerful thing is just to thank people. Thank the people you work with, thank the customers.
Yeah. I think it was maybe two town halls ago, I call it the art of the shout out. And it's where you are shouting out somebody else. And it's great content because that way you're not talking about yourself all the time, blah, 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 right? I would say if it's a follow-up type of video that you want to send somebody you've met with, I'm thinking 30, 45 seconds, like really tight and short. You're just saying, thank you. It was great to meet you, highlighting something that you discussed. And I think you're good on those. So I would keep those pretty short. But if you're doing more an introduction or a broader message that you want to share out on your social network. Yeah, 60 to 90 seconds. And it goes by in a flash. Yeah.
It does. It really does. Just like this show, right? We've probably already been talking for 26 minutes. Can you believe it?
Yeah,
So,
I know.
but it does go by in a flash. And every builder, every community, every developer, right? The culture is different, the process is different, the lingo and the language is different. So depending on understanding all of that and how you go about what it is you do 30, 60 seconds on, 90 seconds on, or what you want to go live on, just really depends on what are you selling, what is your product or your service, and going from there. And there's a big one that we left out. One of the most powerful things that we've been doing with some of our communities is having the building consultant or the salesperson interview the executives.
Oh, okay.
Interview the executives, right? Okay, well, you go, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to call, Craig Collins or, right? But they're really down to earth people. And that's one side of it. But the other side of it is you build a relationship with the executive staff when you do this. There's a bond that happens when you do video all the time, especially if you're doing it in a way that's telling their story and what they're passionate about, because that reflects back on you from the corporate level and everything else in between, but also for the people that may be interested in buying. You're giving them an inside conversation with an executive in the company, which they otherwise would never have an opportunity to hear from or see. And that's a very powerful thing for you as a business development person out there.
Yeah. You also mentioned when we were chatting pre-show about recruitment videos to help recruit talent, like by interviewing people in the company and asking them for basically a testimonial of why they like working there.
Yeah.
And then creating a reel of that for recruiting purposes.
It's huge, especially when you go into the work environment and you have the next generation working there, and you have these rock stars or just people with great personalities. And it doesn't matter if they're covered with tattoos or what. What's fun about it is why are you here? What do you like about it? And they'll go, but you have to tell them, listen, we got to keep this 2 minutes. Let's just be real quick. But it's amazing what comes out of people's mouths in a good way when they truly love their culture and where they work. And what has been happening is we take those and then we'll put 5 or 6 of those together in a sizzle reel. So when they're out there, running their ads, Upwork or wherever, there's a link that has real unedited people saying why they love working here.
Yeah.
And we cut the beginning and end when we're joking around, or bloopers, if we don't get it out right. And I make a lot of mistakes, but that's just part of it. And I think it's a very powerful thing for a company to do, is to showcase their employees or team members.
One of the things, yeah, if you feel like, just switching topics a little bit, if you feel like you have a bit of fear or trepidation about doing video, or it takes you 3 hours to record 1 minute, what I would strongly recommend and what really helped me was getting down an opening that I could use nearly every time in almost any situation. And in the acting world, they call it a slate. So if you're auditioning for video, for TV commercial, anything on film, they don't necessarily slate, I don't think, in person auditions. But if you're doing anything on film, you have to slate. And a slate in the acting world is going like your name, kind of your stats, height, weight. That's scary. So glad we don't have to share that in the home building world. But who your agent is and what you're auditioning for. And in the work that I did, I mean, you had to nail that. If the slate was bad, they don't even watch the rest of the video. So what I would tell you guys is the opening's important and how you close it is important. And if you will script out just on a notepad your opening slate, like how you want to introduce yourself, and just reuse it every time, because it will get you going and then you're going. So Dave, I would do a lot of times on my pre-recorded stuff. I do, hi, Meredith Oliver here with Meredith Communications and whatever is next. And that's my slate. So think about that. How do you think about how you want to start a video? Because I think a lot of times that's where we just, and then we go, never mind, I'm not doing this.
Right. Well, and that's it. So there's two things, if I can.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. So when my video series was called the Modular Home Minute. Hey, everybody, this is Dave Cooper at the Modular Home Minute. And that's what they were, 1-minute episodes of what's going on. Now, sometimes they'd run for 5 minutes because they were live. People start chatting. You want to have fun and engage. But it's keep it simple. So if it's a short video, you don't want the intro to be longer than what the comments you're talking about.
Yes.
And you always want to ask people to like and subscribe and share. You always want to ask that. So the outreach goes to their followers or their social media people. But on the same thing, just like we do on this show, Meredith, and on my Dave Cooper Live show, there's an intro I do every single time. The outros, same thing, but I mix it up, but I have it written out prior to the end of the show, depending on who my guest is. But yeah, very powerful because everybody it's repetitive. It's kind of like seeing Coca-Cola signs everywhere.
Yeah.
You have to be repetitive. And with this social media and video, you got to be consistent. The greatest thing, and I think you probably get this as well, that I get from the show is, Dave, you're consistent. I know at 1 o'clock, you're always going to be live. Sometimes 102 if my internet's not working real well, or 105 and I'm sweating bullets, but you just, if you're consistent with it, people will start tuning in at that very time. Just like I'm sure people are tuning in here because they know you're live.
Yeah. And so one of the things I found as I see a fair number of sales video messages on Facebook, sales people that are, really doing a good job getting those videos done. So a couple of things I've noticed. One is part of that slate, let's make sure you're telling them your location. Some of you launch into all about this new model home, and I don't know where it is, and I don't know the name of the community. Like, I need context. To me, that's what a good video intro does, is say who you are and then give context to what I'm about to tell you next. So another way to think of it is set the scene. So you're going to slate with a scripted opening, and then I need you to set the scene. What am I looking at? You got to tell me what I'm looking at. And a lot of times I think we're just so busy turning our message out and we're super nervous that we don't set the scene.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right. I'll give you an example. So if people re-listen to this, they can just play off what I do. So I'll give you one when I'm at a factory. I start off, hey everybody, this is Dave Cooper. We are live on location at AutoVol, which is a 400,000 square foot, fully automated robotic building manufacturing plant in Boise, Idaho, but they're shipping and building all over this territory, We're going to do a live walkthrough today. We're going to show you all the robots and how this actually works. Let's get started. Simple as that.
Boom. That's exactly, and we did not rehearse this, but that is exactly what I'm talking about. You introduced yourself, you did your slate, you introduced yourself in the show, and then you gave me the context of where you are, how big it is, exactly what they provide, where it's located. Now I'm ready to listen to the rest. Now, that's taken a lot of practice for you to do this, right? I mean, you've done that a time or two.
Yeah, a few thousand times at this point, but here it is, right? Who am I? Where am I? And why am I here? That's all you got to remember. Who am I? Where,
somebody
that's what
write
I
that
remember
down.
Everything. That's all I do before each one. Where am I? Who am I? Where am I? And why am I here?
Where and why am I here? Boom. I was saying set the scene, but that's what I was really trying to say. Perfect. Yeah. So that's your opening. And you guys don't have to try to recreate the wheel on this. I know it'll feel, and it's not that you can change it up. It's not that you can't, but I'm just saying you might feel like it's repetitive, but that's actually that's what Dave's telling you. That's what it takes to break through all the noise and for people to actually, remember you and it to make an impression on them. So what seems repetitive to you, they haven't even noticed yet. So
Yeah, and you'll be your harshest critic. And the reality of it is, if you weren't nervous, if you weren't scared, you probably just don't care. And that's the thing. You know, I tell everybody, you know, even before your show, Meredith, I've been following you for a long time. Well, before I got into videos, I went to some of your seminars at IBS, have your book, all those things. If I was somewhere where I had it, I'd hold it up. But the reality of it is you have to just do it scared. It's no different for anybody else. Your hands will get sweaty. You'll make mistakes.
Yes.
But that's what people love. Reality TV is booming right now. People are okay with that. You're human. So you'll get tongue tied, or, you know, your throat, you'll get a scratch in your throat.
Yes.
But that's what it's all about. And that's what makes you real. And that's why people are going to want to work with you.
Yeah. And none of us will, most of us will not like seeing ourselves on video. We won't like how we look. We might not like how we sound, but we're all in it together because we all pretty much feel the same way, right? I mean, so I totally get it. I still, to this day, yes, I have sweaty palms right now. I get tongue-tied asking you questions. I've done so much video work over the years, and it's hard, and it does make you a bit nervous, but here we are, right? And we try to just push through. And I think in trying to get attention, customers' attention, keep their attention, this is going to be one of the most engaging forms we could do. Yeah. Any suggestions on lighting, given that, you know, like I said, our salespeople aren't necessarily in a studio where they can perfect all their lighting and get it just so every time. They're more on remote, on, you know, moving around and so forth. What's your tip on that? Yeah, listen, the sound is everything. Even right now, I'm at a relative's house in New Jersey. I'm not in a studio. I have my laptop and a video camera, and that's it. You know, like a webcam style setup. So my big, put a little bit of light on your face, right? Mm-hmm. And if I could show you without ripping down the whole thing, just grab a light and shine it on your face, and that's it. Just have your camera set up. But the sound is the most important thing. And you don't have to be in a studio. Most of my stuff, when I'm out doing the modular home minutes or on location, that's out in the field. You have birds chirping, you got sound going, you got a truck honking when you don't want it to honk. And heck, in Washington, DC, I had some street people coming up to me during the live stream wanting to be on camera. So I had to turn around and make them happy and put them on camera. So these are the things that happen, and you go with it. And that's what makes it so much fun. Oh, coming in. Speaking of, these are the things that happen, and it's so much fun. Our panelists, our rock star panelists, Kerry Mulcrone, Kerry Co., I believe out of your Florida office today, if I had to guess.
Hi, everyone. This is Kerry Mulcrone, live from Florida in my needs to be cleaned home.
Excellent slate, Kerry. Excellent. You are already putting it into practice. And this is Angela McKay of A New Go Rendering House, and she is out of Vancouver.
That's right. I'm in my Vancouver office.
You're in the Vancouver office today.
That's right. I like to switch it back and forth.
I know, right? So as Kerry and Angela, as you have been listening to our conversation so far, you've got a few notes, I see.
I know. I'm ready for you. Come on.
What are some of the questions that popped into your head that maybe we didn't cover, or we weren't clear, or?
So Dave, be careful, because before Ange and I got off, you said, bring it. We're going to bring it.
Hey, listen, the hot seat's a good place to be.
He's ready.
So I'm going to start, and then Ange, you jump in with a couple of questions, because I have all my, oh my gosh, aha moments, right? Because there are like so flipping many of them that I will tell you, everybody, tell them something they want, so they want you. Tell them something they want. You said that, and that's why people go back to reality TV. It's something they want. The power is in your pocket. Now, keeping that clean, the power is in your pocket. Real people doing real things.
Yeah.
So, like, I just went, Oh my gosh, yeah, everybody had to write that down. So Ange, you go, then I'll give questions too.
Okay.
Well, the two big takeaways, I think the hardest part for me is just getting started with video and how I look, how I feel, how I sound.
Yeah.
But you said two things: consistency, you got to start somewhere, and having a calendar. I think
Yeah.
those are, that's the type of person I am. I've got to write it down. I've got to create something, then stick to it. It's building out habits. That's really what it comes down to. And you've got to start somewhere. I think we all have a little bit of a hesitancy sometimes with video. I think you said it, Meredith. We don't like how we sound. We don't like how we look.
Nope.
Right.
Not really.
But that's the thing. If everybody keeps thinking that way, then nobody's going to do it. So be the one that gets over it. Because the funny part is when you start having this engagement, just like the three of you are seeing with everything happening in the chat, I mean, that's really great. Think about that. I mean, these are all people that are tuning in because they want to learn something or share something or show their support. And if you're consistent and you do it, you'll find nobody's ever going to say to Angela or Kerry, your voice is horrible.
No,
all right. Well,
not to our face.
I've not yet heard that.
No, I've learned in 20 years of being a professional speaker on stage that the majority of the audience, truly 99% of the audience, is totally rooting for you. They want you to do well, and they're actually looking for cues from you that you are and that you're comfortable, and then they can be comfortable because they want you. Look, it's a reciprocal thing. Now there's a 1% that's just nasty, but that's okay. That's the world, right? But with these videos, we're rooting for you as we're the ones watching it. We really are. We just want the information that you have to share. And the extra 15 pounds or the bald spot or whatever, honestly, we don't see it.
Right.
We really don't.
We don't. And you know what? You're right, Meredith. People want you to win. If you've got the guts to do this, they're like,
that's what I'm saying.
They're like, so question, Dave. We kind of talked about this early, and then you even alluded to it. So I love it, is that everybody right now currently has most commonly asked questions, or most commonly asked in this day, objections, because it's taking a long time to build a home, right?
Yeah.
So if they would help them understand how, if they would take those most commonly asked objections, put them in your words, a sizzle reel, or in something on video, that all of a sudden people would go, oh, that's why, these builders don't have the stuff. So why does someone think that they get to make it overnight and make a closing date? Help them understand how they can send people to an educational format.
Well, that's right. And the biggest contention between builders and the consumer is the lack of communication, typically, or the lack of understanding of the process and what's happening, because it's not communicated, because we know it inside and out. But I also don't know how to do brain surgery. So I'd have a lot of questions if I was getting brain surgery, right? I understand the general concept of it. So, when you ask that, talking about the things you do, don't do, or the hiccups, right now, supply chain is a wreck for everybody, and build times and getting supplies are a wreck for everybody. Well, the consumer does not understand that lumber was up over 300%. The consumer does not understand that those masonite doors are still on back order. Right. And well, why isn't my house done? Why isn't my house done? Video is a way for you to put it out to the masses. So if you have a bunch of customers that you're building, you have emails, you could just do quick updates. Here's where we are. This is what's going on. Here's a clip from the sales cycle, or the purchaser or the provider of the material, and just share information. Say, when we're trying to source this stuff anywhere we can, but it's just because of X, Y, Z. Right. Little things like that, just for your general sales, makes a huge, huge difference.
I gotta tell you, Dave, that's amazing for all of these people that are on right now. If you combine these things that you said, like an interview. So let's say we've got your director of construction, your purchasing guy, your husband, whoever it is, and they get the call that says, we don't have this product for you right now. And if someone interviewed them and said that this is what is in short supply right now, why it's in short supply, and you did this, it's like a second party testimonial. Then
That's right.
you salespeople no longer have to say, yeah, you know, we don't have copper wiring, we don't have flex steel. And they're going,
Right.
I was at Home Depot, I saw it on the aisle. That instead you get an expert. I love it.
Right?
100%.
Yeah. It's that credibility. What
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the authority or credibility?
That's it.
There's a term for it, and that this format gives you that.
Correct.
It does. 100, you know, I keep saying 100%. I love that word, but it really does. And the reality to that format is you can send something out. We have some people that do every morning here, what's happening today. And they just go through the calendar, what they have going on, and they just do a quick video to their, you know, current customer list. But it's only like a 30-second thing, but
Yeah.
you know, the customer loves it because they're hearing from them.
Mhm.
It's easy to go a week
Attaching it
without
as a
calling
link.
somebody, or 2 weeks sometimes when you get bogged down, because we're firefighters. We're always firefighters in the home building business. We're always putting out fires where this isn't going wrong, or the siding's crew didn't show up because they got paid on Friday and, you know, never made it to work Monday, whatever the stories that happen out there are. Communication is a tool that is simplified if you use video as a resource. And that's just even in a text message or in an email.
Attach it
Yeah.
as a link. Baby, I love that. Attach it as a link. What do you have, Ange?
Well, I'm just, you know, my my brain is going, because I think people generally do not, they are a little bit lazy in wanting to read, right? So they are more inclined to watch a video than they are. So I'm now thinking, you know, when you look at newsletters, emails, even blog posts, maybe you get ideas for video, but I think they really kind of can clarify and provide more context with a video.
Yeah.
No,
The
yeah.
ability for video makes more complex ideas simple
Yep.
in a way that really no other form of communication, perhaps excluding a one-on-one conversation like this,
Right.
can do. I mean, you
Well,
just
it's-
cannot explain a more complex
Right.
idea in a blog or a newsletter like you could
Right.
in a video.
Good point. And you know, doesn't that go back, Dave, to like when we're listening to you, like when you were in the house she built and walking around the rooms and stuff, it's like when I train salespeople, it's like voice to voice and heart to heart. You can do that once in a video and get to 1 million hearts. And that's what you did. I mean, I just sat there. I was so intrigued that it was going and going. I just kept you going and kept working. And then when I would hear you in a room or say something, I'm like looking at you. So I think that voice to voice, heart to heart, right?
It is. It's you can touch people. There's a reason that people get it, you know, like they have a connection to movie stars or people in the industry, or maybe there's just somebody that's really at the top of their game and you admire them so much and you watch all their sales videos, like Meredith, right? You know, so you read all the books and you do all this, and when you meet them, that you feel like you know a part of them, and that's what the video is doing. And to add on, what's amazing about video is you actually can transcribe it for $1 or $2 a minute, and you have a blog post, you have a written post that you can send out. So it gives you different forms that you can use, and you can cut them up if you wanted to and have little micro contents when somebody says something really cool or powerful, and just replay it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we had a question. Jane asked pointers, tips on making yourself smile while you do your video. I have an answer to this, but I think it's going to be different than Dave. So I'm going to let Dave go first. If you've got tips, like how did you learn to
Smile?
while you're talking, like, you know, because it's not automatic for everybody. It's really not. So yeah.
When you're doing video, just like with myself, it's in my lanes, right? I know this stuff inside and out. I know the sales process. I know how it works. I know the numbers, and it makes it a lot of fun to talk about. So if you understand your product and your business and what you're doing, it's not hard to smile because you're going to be talking about something that you love and you want to pass that passion on. But you do have to remember to slow it down. You do have to remember to smile. And sometimes it takes a little bit of effort because the first few, you're going to be so nervous trying to think about what you're going to say that you don't smile. But that's all right. Just as you keep going, because after you do it 5 times, you're going to be so mad at yourself, you're going to start smiling. You start building habits with it.
Yeah. And that's what my answer was literally a memorization habit. All those many, many years ago when I was in college and did the Miss America pageants for scholarship funds, they trained you, and I'll try not to do it, but I can't do it. They literally trained you that before you walked in the room to do your one-on-one interview for that part of the competition, you walked in smiling. So what I do literally before I hit record on the video, before we go live, my habit is smile and then start talking. So they literally trained us, smile, now start talking. Because if you start with a smile, you'll keep going. It's not, no, really, you might drop it. You might drop it at first, like he said, because you're nervous. You're trying to think about what you're going to say. This is new for you. But once you get going, smile, now record and start talking. And that's literally how they train us as a habit. If you need to put a sticky note on the bottom of your phone, smile. That will help you build the habit. The other tip I'll give you that just has helped me is I really don't look at myself because I can't stop critiquing the hair, the makeup, the whatever. So I stare into that camera lens because I want you all to see me looking at you like we're having a one-on-one and I'm not looking off camera, but still I do that. And I barely look at the Zoom down here. I only look for technical reasons. I'm mostly looking into the camera most of the time. And part of that is just because I'm much less self-conscious. If I'm looking in the camera, I'm thinking about you, the audience. I'm not busy critiquing myself and what I'm going to say next, which could be interesting or not.
And as you guys talk about all the practice and all the scripting and all the rehearsing, and I get it because I train it, but learning to laugh at yourself a little bit, I know everybody on this whole program realizes you're not really sure what's going to come out of my mouth next. Sometimes both Meredith and Angela, and we had Matt, were like, oh God, what's she gonna say? But there's just a little bit of random. Let it happen, right? Like
100%.
And then like the car runs into the porta
that's
potty.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And you go, what the hell? Look at this guy.
Those are the best moments.
Right.
It's just, I think it's like a good airline flight. It's all about the takeoff and the landing. Like what happens in between, as long as you take off safely and you land safely as a passenger, I'm satisfied. Like I want you to open up strong and attention getting, because I think the first 10 or 15 seconds is basically the same thing as an email subject line. I will not keep watching if you're bumbling around too much at the very beginning. And what Dave said about setting that scene, who am I, where am I, and why am I here? Boom. Then in the middle, random, like let's have some fun, be more loose, be conversational. But then I want you to close it strong. You didn't really get to elaborate too much on this, Dave, but you mentioned it. So I want you to elaborate. You mentioned a call to action at the end.
Yeah.
And as an important way to close.
Well, and as you start this and you start moving along, and to add to even the opening, you could also say, who am I? Where am I? Why am I here? And here's what you're going to learn from my video today.
Right.
If it's a short video, that's what, okay, do I want to hear that or not?
Yeah.
So that's a very powerful one. But on our closings, we're typically, thanking everybody. I always tell everybody, to like and share on social media. But
Okay.
here's what's coming up next. Because we're going to be consistent. You have to be consistent. So you know that Wednesday at 1 o'clock, I'm releasing another video where I'm going live. So here's what's coming up next. You know, if you want to learn more about this, please tune in, ... and follow. Here's my next guest's information. Because if they go and follow the next guest is typically going to be liking and sharing that they're going to be on the show or whatever the case may be. But it's pretty simple. And if you're doing live like we're doing now, you know, timing's everything and people are busy. So, you know, try and be short and very precise on what it is you're talking about and what you're doing. And like Kerry said, have some fun in between. It's always fun. Randomly, you get all these questions and comments popping up. You know, it's fun to do that. And don't be afraid
I
of it.
love, Dave, that you have said several times today, some of it is tell them what you're going to tell them. Because that's one of the reasons that you'll get a following, that they're like, I'm busy, but oh my gosh, this is what he's going to do today. So I'm going to listen. I think when you make sure that you tell them what you're going to tell them and then tell them what you told them when you close, it helps.
Yeah. So speaking of telling what we're going to tell them, Angela put into the chat a link to a PDF. If you did want to set up some kind of very simple studio, like mine here is not sophisticated at all, as proof by the fact I put every single one of my tech resource, my equipment list. I listed out all my equipment and the link to where you can buy it on Amazon. Those are not affiliate links or anything like that. They should be, but they aren't. It's just, if you did want to set up something simple, I've got a resource for you. We also have to put in the chat too oh, there we go. Yep, you did it already. Embedding video into your email. Yeah, if you want, BombBomb is probably the best known tool for that. And if you want some simple steps on how to do that, we've got a link resource for you there. Now, Dave, do you have a blog or something that they can follow along, or newsletter? What resources do you?
Yeah, so for us, we're on LinkedIn is our biggest resource. So if you want to follow us on LinkedIn, we have a ton of information, and we have our show. We're only 4 days a week now. That year ended. But we're 4 days a week still. So definitely go there. That's where we're putting most of the information out. And subscribing to our YouTube channel is a big deal. And for us, we're growing rapidly. We actually are at, I think, 102,000 minutes a month watched right now. And we only started YouTube about a year and a half ago. So it takes time to build, but it's starting to get some momentum. But those are the two places to do it. And then we have some industry reports and stuff. So if you start following us on LinkedIn, you'll find links that we'll be releasing soon for industry reports of what we see going on. Being that we're interviewing all these people from around the world, it's amazing to get the insight. And Kerry and Angela, you can believe you're probably going to end up on the Dave Cooper Live show with Meredith as well, because I think there's a lot of things that people are going to want to hear from all of you.
See, we're gonna return the favor. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
The dynamic trio.
I know we're almost out of time, Meredith, but don't get caught up in statistics and followers and likes and shares. It's a sinkhole. It'll make you gut wrench. Sometimes I have a post that get like 16 views. Other times it gets 90,000 views, right? You don't know. But here's what happens, especially in a professional industry like we are in, is even for us, we have a lot of people that follow our show because they want the information. They're not necessarily wanting to let the world know they're out there following us. So this is a big thing to understand, because we talk at trade shows just like Meredith and others do all the time. And they say, oh, I watch all yours. Well, why don't you like it? Why don't you let me know you're there? You know, it frustrates me. But then, you know, these are business people. They don't want other people to know what they're doing. They're gathering the information and they reach out when they need something. So just keep that in mind. Homeowners are the same way. They don't want their neighbors knowing what they're doing and other people knowing what they're doing. So as you're doing this, just because you don't feel it's going through the roof and you're not that next, multi-billionaire YouTuber, because it's not probably going to happen for me or you, the reality of it is people are watching it. So be consistent with it and don't get caught up in likes and views.
Silent stalkers? Is that what you Dave, silent stalkers. I love it.
We get,
Yeah.
we get a lot of silent stalkers in what we do. But again, like you said, you got a lot of directors of sales and we have a lot of people in competition with other builders and businesses out there. They keep to themselves and take the information they want.
Mm-hmm. And that's right. And I think making sure that you know what is the point, like what am I going to share with you today? You get to that quickly and you keep it conversational, close it up with how to get in touch with you or next steps or to like, subscribe, all of those. That gives you a roadmap, folks. And that's what I really wanted to do today. It took us most of the time to do it, but we got there. I wanted you to kind of see step by step, if you break it up into these smaller parts, just like if you were to go give a talk, which no, nobody wants to do, I know, but me and Dave and Kerry and Angela, but you outline it, it's in segments. So my closing thought for you, as I was just now listening to Dave talk, was that you know how to do this. This is so much like other things that you do, whether you're sending emails or making phone calls. This is communication, just like these other forms of communication that salespeople are great at. You just have to apply what you know works on those other types of channels to video, which is be yourself, but get to a point, tell them what they need to know, then tell them. Like Kerry, when you said that, that's what made me think, we already know how to do this. That's what a good sales presentation does. You tell them what they are going to learn and then tell them what you're going to tell them. Like that's what you do.
Yeah.
So you guys got this. You know how to do it. I think maybe you just haven't been given permission to put all of it together. And then it's really just going to take some practice and doing it. And you'll get better and better at it.
Send them to us. We'll look at them. We'll tell you how awesome they are. Send them to us.
Yeah, I love it.
I'll help you with that.
You are absolutely fabulous, Dave.
Isn't he terrific? Yeah. So you can learn more about Dave, davecooper.live, right?
That's correct.
And then from there, they can link out to your different social media profiles. And if we could all do Dave a huge favor, and I'll also post it on our Facebook group, but Dave Cooper YouTube channel, subscribe.
Oh, love it. Hey, thank you so much. And hey, go out there and be on that third meeting on your first meeting. That's what it's all about. Close more deals.
That's right.
It'll happen if you stick with it.
Yeah, that's right. So first Tuesday in October, we will see you then. It's Meredith Oliver with Builder Town Hall with Angela, Kerry, and Dave. And we thank you so much for your time and attention today. We so appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.